Whoo, this is late. What's going on? Yeah, Asceticism 2. It's a little bit more black pill talk. How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Yeah, what's up? I had a stream earlier and it was called, the petition. I had to speak on it. Yeah, I'm going to put a little, let me make it nonprofit. Yeah, because we're going to talk about what's going on. What's going on? Yeah. All right. I'm going to add my piece to it. Let's see who's going to come through. But, yeah, we're going to talk about asceticism. And we're just going to be in here for a moment and just keep it real. I know people's going to be in and out, so I don't really care at this point. That's how weird the chat room is. I don't have a chat room that's domineering yet, but we'll get through it. But that's okay. Asceticism, from Greek to exercise or to train, and it says the practice of denial, physical or psychological desires in order to attain a spiritual ideal or goal. Hardly any religion has been without at least a trace or some features of asceticism. Let's go to the origins. Stop all that shit. All right. The origins of asceticism lie in a man's attempt to achieve various ultimate goals or ideals, development of the whole person, human creativity, idea, the self, or skills demanding technical proficiency, athletic ascesis training involving the idea of bodily fitness and excellence was developed to ensure the highest possible degree of physical fitness in an athlete. Among the ancient Greeks, athletes prepared for physical contests, the Olympic Games, disciplined their bodies by abstaining from various normal pleasures and by enduring difficult physical tests. In order to achieve a high proficiency in the skills of a warfare, warriors also adapt various ascetical practices. The ancient Israelites, for example, abstained from sexual intercourse before going to battle. Interesting. As values other than those concerned with physical proficiency were developed, the concept expressed by ascesis and its cognates was applied to other ideals and mental facility and moral vitality and spiritual ability. But the idea of training for a physical goal was converted to that of attaining wisdom or mental prowess by developing and training intellectual facilities. Among the Greeks, such as the training of the intellect led to the pedagogical system of the Sophists, itinerant teachers, writers, and lecturers of the 5th and 4th centuries BCE who instructed in the return for fees. Another change in this concept of ascesis occurred in ancient Greece, when the notion of such training was applied to the realm of ethics, in the ideal of the sage who was able to act freely to choose or refuse a desired object or an act of physical pleasure. This kind of ascesis involving training the will against a life of sensual pleasure was exemplified by the Stoics, ancient Greek philosophers who advocate the control of the emotions by reason. But the view of the one ought to deny one's lower desires understanding as sensuous or bodily in contrast with one's spiritual desire and virtuous aspirations became a central principle in ethical thought. Plato believed in that it is necessary to suppress the bodily desires so that the soul can be free and search for knowledge. This is a view also propounded by Plotinus, a Greek philosopher of the 3rd century CE and one of the founders of Neo-Platoism. Philosophy concerned with the hierarchical levels of reality. The Stoics, among whose asceticism was primarily a discipline to achieve control over the promptings of emotions, upheld the dignity of human nature and a wise man's nature and improbability, which they believe would become possible through the suppression of the affective or appetitive part of man. In a similar manner, the value of asceticism is strengthening an individual wills and his deeper spiritual powers has been a part of many religions and philosophies throughout history. The 19th century German philosopher Arthur uh, Schopenhauer, for example, advocated a type of asceticism that annihilates the will to live his fellow countrymen. And earlier contemporary, the philosopher Immanuel Kant, held to a moral asceticism for the cultivation of virtue according to the maxims of the Stoics. Many factors were operating in the rise and the cultivation of religious asceticism. The fear of hostile influences from the demons, the view that one must be in a state of ritual purity as necessary conditions of the entering into the communion with the supernatural, to desire to invite the attain of the divine sacred beings, to self-denial being practiced by their suppliants. The idea of earning pity and compassion and salvation by merit because of self-inflicted acts of ascetical practice, the sense of guilt and sin that promotes the need for an atonement. The view that asceticism is means to gain access to the supernatural powers and the power of dualistic concepts that have been at the source of the efforts to free the spiritual part of a man from defilement of the body and a physically oriented living. Among the higher religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity, still other factors became significant in the rise of cultivation of asceticism. These include the realizations of the transitory nature of the earthly life, which prompts a desire to anchor one's hope in otherworldliness, and the reaction against the secularization that is often coupled with the belief that spirituality can best be preserved by simplifying one's mode of life. And that's more asceticism. We're just going to break down, and then it said forms of religious and asceticism. So we're going to read more, and I'm going to see who's in here in the building. So, you know what I'm saying? Tampa, what's going on? New, what's going on? Salute to your brothers out there. So we're going to get into it. I know this may not be a panel opportunity. We're just going to do a stream. In forms of religious asceticism, in all strictly ascetic movements, celibacy has been regarded as the first commandment. Virgins and celibates emerged among the earliest Christian communities, came to occupy a prominent status. The status among the earliest Mesopotamian Christian communities. Okay, I'll read that again. I'll read it from the top. And in all strictly ascetic movements, celibacy has been regarded as the first commandment. Virgins and celibates emerged among the earliest Christian communities, came to occupy a prominent status among the earliest Mesopotamian Christian communities. Only the celibates were accepted as full members of the church. In some religions, only celibates have been permitted to be priests. Aztec religion and Roman Catholicism. Abdiction of worldly goods. Addiction of worldly goods is another fundamental principle in a monotheistic communities, there has been a strong trend toward this ideal. In Christian monotheisticism, this ideal was enacted in the most radical form by Alexander Echumenitos, a founder of monasteries in the Mesopotamia, died in 430 CE, I believe. Centuries before the activities of the medieval Western Christian monk Saint Francis of Assisi. Alexander betrothed himself to poverty. Through his disciples, he explained his influence in Eastern Christian monasteries. These monks lived from alms. They begged, but did not follow all the gifts to accumulate and create a housekeeping problem, as occurred among some Western monotheistic orders, such as the Franciscans. In the East, wandering Hindu ascetics and Buddhist monks also live according to regulations to prescribe a denial of worldly goods. Abstinence and fasting are by far the most common of all ascetic practices. Among the primitive peoples, the originate in part because of the belief that taking food is dangerous, for demonic forces may enter the body while one is eating. Further, some foods regarded as especially dangerous were to be avoided. Fasting connected with religious festivals are very ancient roots. In ancient Greek religion, rejection of meat appeared particular among the Orphics, the mystical vegetarian cult. In the cult of Dionysus, the orgiastics of god of wine. Among the Pythagoreans, a mystical numerical cult. Among number of churches in the most important period of the fasting and the liturgical year is the 40 days before Easter, Lent. And among Muslims, the most prominent period of fasting is the month of Ramadan. The ordinary fasting cycles, however, did not satisfy the needs of the ascetics, of who therefore created their own traditions among the Jewish Christian circles and Gnostic movements. Various regulations regarding to the use of vegetarian food were established, and uh, Manichaean monks won general admiration for the intensity of their fasting achievements. Christian authors write of their ruthless and unrelenting fasting in between their own monks and the Manichaeans. Only the Syrian ascetical virtuosos could offer the competition in the practice of asceticism. Everything that could reduce sleep and make it the result short period of rest as troublesome as possible was tried by Syrian ascetics. In their monasteries, Syrian monks tied the ropes around their atoms. Okay, around the atoms and where they hung in the awkward positions. Some were tied the standing posts. Personal hygiene also fell under the condemnation among ascetics. In the dust of the desert, where many ascetics made their uh, bodies, and in the blaze of the Oriental sunshine. The abduction of washing was equate with a form of asceticism that was painful to the body. With respect to the prohib- prohibition against washing, the Persian prophet Mani seems to have been influenced by those ascetic figures who have been seen since the ancient times in India, walking around with their long hair hanging in the wild abandonment and dressed in filthy rags, never cutting their fingernails and allowing dirt and dust accumulate on their bodies. Among the aesthetic practices in the reduction of the movement was especially popular among the Syrian monks, who were founded of the complete seclusion in a cell. The practice of restriction in regard to contact with the human beings culminated in solidarity and confinement in the wilderness cliffs, frontiers, areas of the desert, and the mountains. In general, any settled dwelling place has been unacceptable to ascetic mentality, as noted in the ascetical movements in many religions. But psychological forms of asceticism have been developed. A technique of pain causing introspection was used by Buddhist ascetics in connection with their practice for meditation. But the Syrian Christian theologian Saint Ephraim Sirius counseled the monks that meditation on guilt, sin, and death and punishment, i.e., the pre-enact of the moment before the eternal judge, must be carried out with the such ardor that an inner life becomes a burning lava that produce an upheaval of the soul and torment of the heart. Syrian monks striving for higher goals, created a psychological atmosphere in which continued to fear and dreaded, methodically cultivated, were expected to produce and continual tears. Okay, hold on a minute. I'll pick up where I left off. Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna go to shadow point for a minute. Skip the ad. Hold on. Yeah. Let me see. Cultivation, virtuosos. See amongst higher cultivation. Okay, 10 annual tears. Nothing less than the extreme self mortification satisfies the aesthetic virtuosos. Painting producing asceticism has appeared in many forms. A popular custom was to undergo certain physical, exhausting, or painful exercise. The phenomenon of a cold and heated provided opportunities for such experiences. The Hindu uh, fakirs, aesthetics of India, provide most remarkable examples of those seeking painful forms of asceticism. In the earliest examples, such as radical forms of self mortification that appeared in India, the ascetics stared at the sun until he went blind or held his arms above the head until they weathered. Syrian Christian monasticism was intervened in regard into the forms of self torture, highly regarded custom involving the use of iron devices such as girdles or chains placed around the loins, necks, and hands and feet, often hidden under the garments. Producing forms of asceticism, including self laceration and particularly castration and flagellation, whipping. Mm. And emerging as a mass movement in Italy and Germany during the Middle Ages. It's still practiced in parts of Mexico and in the southwestern United States. Variations of asceticism in the world religions. In the primitive religions, asceticism is a form of seclusion, physical discipline, and the quality and quantity of food. The scribe has played an important role in the connection with the puberty rites and rituals of admission to the tribal community, isolation for shorter or longer periods of time. And other acts of asceticism has been imposed on the medicine man since severe and self is regarded as the chief way leading into the control of occult powers. Isolation was and is practiced by young men about to achieve the status of manhood in the Blackfoot and other Indian tribes of the northwestern United States. In a connection with the important occasions such as funerals and war taboos, negative restrictive injunctions involving abstinence from certain food and cohabitation were imposed. But for the priests and the chiefs, these were much stricter. In Hellenistic culture, 300 BCE, the CE 300, I'll say 300 CE, asceticism is a form of fasting, refraining from sexual intercourse, was practiced by communities of religious mystical character, including the Orphics, Pythagoreans, and a new impetus, fresh approach to the aesthetic practice, including emasculation, came with the expansion of Oriental mystery religious, such as the cult of the Great Mother in the Mediterranean Sea. In India, the late uh, Vedic period, the Vedic period, 1500 BCE, the 200 BCE, the ascetic use of tapas, heart or austerity. I mean, heat or austerity became associated with the meditation of yoga, inspired by the idea of tapas, kill sin. These practices were embedded in the Brahmanic, the Brahmanic and ritual Hindu religion, and these I would say panaceids, I would say panaceids or something like that, panaceids, physical treaties, and this is a view of tapas. Okay, gain in importance and among the yogas and jainas and adherents of religion, austerity that broke away from Brahmic, Brahmanic, Hinduism. According to Jainism, liberation has become possibly only when all passions have been exterminated. Under the influences such as aesthetic views and practice in India, Sahartra Gaudamata himself underwent the expressions of the body self mortification in order to obtain spiritual benefits. But since his expectations were not fulfilled, he abandoned them. But his basic tenet, which held that suffering and lies in casual relations with desire to promote asceticism in Buddhism and the portrait of the Buddhist monk and monk as depicted in a vineyard. In a collection of the monastics of regulation is one of who avoids extreme asceticism in his self-discipline. The kind of monasticism that developed in the Hinduism during the medieval period also was moderate. Asceticism generally has no significance place in the indigenous religions of China, Confucianism, and Taoism. Only the priests in Confucianism practice discipline and abstinence from certain foods during certain periods. Some movements with Taoism observe similar marginal aesthetic practices. Judaism, because of the view of the God created the world, including man, is good and non-aesthetical character, and including only certain aesthetic features such as fasting for strengthening the efficiency of prayer, for gaining merit, and though some saw the power of the holiness of the life in some aesthetic practice of fully developed in aesthetical systems, life has remained foreign to Jewish thought. Aesthetic trends could therefore appear only on the periphery of Judaism. Such as undercurrents rose to surface among the Essenes and monasticistic and sects and associated with the Dead Sea Scrolls, who represented a kind of religious order practice of celibacy, poverty, and abundance. The archaeological discovery 1940s of their community, the Qumran near Dead Sea in the area, and that was a part of Jordan, has thrown the new light, such as movements in Judaism and Zoroastrianism, found by Persian prophet Zoroaster, something like that. Zoroastrianism, something like that. Yeah, I remember that religion. In the 7th century BCE, there's official no place of asceticism, but in the Avested sacred scriptures of the Zoroastrianism, fasting and mortifications are forbidden, but aesthetics were not entirely absent even in Persia. Okay, I remember that religion. That is so old. That's probably dead right now. In Christianity, all types of asceticism have found a realization. In the Gospels of asceticism is never mentioned, but the theme of following the historical Christ gave asceticism a point of a departure. The ascetic view of the Christian life is found in the first letter of Paul to Corinthians in his use of the image of the spiritual athlete, who most constantly discipline and train himself in order to win the race. Abstinence, fasts, vigils, in general characterized the lives of the early Christians, but some ramifications of developing Christianity became radically ascetic. Some of these movements, such as the Ancrates, an early ascetic sect and primitive form of Syria Christianity, and the followers of Marcionian and played important roles in the history of early Christianity. During the first centuries of ascetics, stay in their communities, assumed their role in the life of the church, centered their views of asceticism on martyrdom and celibacy. Towards the end of the 3rd century, the monotheisticism originated in Mesopotamia and Egypt, secured in its prominent form in Cenobitism, common monotheism after the establishment of Christianity as the official religion of the Roman Empire in 313 CE. After 313 CE, okay, monotheism was given a new impetus, spread all over the Western world. In Roman Catholicism, new orders were found on a large scale, but though asceticism was rejected by the leaders of the Protestant Reformation, certain forms of asceticism did emerge in Calvinism and Puritanism and Pietism, early Methodism, and Oxford movement, and the Anglo movement of the 19th century, espousing early ecclesiastical ideas related to the asceticism is Protestant work ethic. which consists of a radical requirement of accomplishment symbolized in achievement in one's profession, and at the same time demanding strict uh, reunification of the enjoyment of material gains acquired legitimately. Adherents of Islam, it is primarily only on only on fasting, while it was obligatory in the month of Ramadan. Monotheism is rejected in the Quran and the Islamic sacred scripture, yet ascetics force among Christians in Syria and Mesopotamia vigorous and Confucius were able to exercise their influence and were assimilated by Islam in the aesthetic movement and known as the Zohd, and later in that of Sufism. Okay, later in that in Sufism. Yeah, I mentioned this before. A mystical movement arose in the 8th century and incorporated aesthetic ideals and the methods. Yeah, this is asceticism. You can read this for yourself. This is on the Britannica. I'm gonna give you this link in the chat in the live wire hard body. I've been reading this, so you know it's on there. What's going on, Mike? Salute. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm in here today, so yeah, shouts you out for a minute. Yeah, what's going on, man? Um, I just want to put this out. I'm gonna stop and share. That was only in the Britannica. So let's go here for a minute. We're gonna talk about it. Yeah, this is basically it's an ideology deals with a lot of religions and it's a lot of fasting and it explains further. So I'm glad I have this up here. Asceticism, hermitage can be either a place where a hermit is live seclusion from the world, or a building or settlement where a person, a group of people live religiously in seclusion. It's kind of like seclusion. It's severe self-discipline and avid avoidance of all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons. That's asceticism. So they said what examples, what it means, talk about in the Bible, and I'm going to read the ascetic lifestyle. It's a Greek culture. I mentioned earlier in the stream. Yeah, man. I'm just saying, you got, let's look at religions like that. This one right here. You know, you can see in the pictures, but you got all these types that deal with that. Oh my God. And people dealing with code and religious cultures and all that. So yeah, this is very black pill. They be on some type of a mission. I know it's extremely wild, but yeah, man, nobody talks about this stuff. But yeah, it's a common practice. I did this before, so yeah, I'm gonna look up some more. I'm just gonna see what's going on. So you know what I'm saying, and yeah, it's gone. True, salute, and yeah, I'm just breaking this down, but yeah, you got a lot of people practicing stuff and fasting. It's been around forever. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even tripping off this stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying for a minute, since it's gonna be okay, I'm gonna take this off the charger for a minute. Because I'm listening to my boy BGS on the stream. He's on the stream right now. So, you know, y'all bear with me. Let's get my little device charge up on my phone. See, no Tie City's on, and I'm talking about this. Yeah, I could. This is 9 o'clock. I mean 9:29 Eastern time. I thought, and I started late because you know how it is. It's Sunday, so we're gonna deal with it. And no, we're gonna get up out of here. Well, let's see for a minute. I'm just taking a little break, so you know how it is. Okay. I'm gonna find some links. Hold on. The philosophy. Okay, we're gonna go in here. Here's the philosophy of it. The practitioners of the philosophy abandon sensual pleasures, lead an abstinent lifestyle, pursue redemption, salvation, or spirituality. Asceticism is seen the ancient theologies as journey towards spiritual transformation, where the simple is significant, bliss within, and the frugal is plenty. That's what you see on these symbolisms of asceticism. I just read the Britannica and things like that. And let's look at here for a minute. We're gonna go down. Ooh, it's a long reading. I don't think I'm gonna read all that. Let's find a good one. This is bad. This is bad, y'all. This is bad, y'all. I'm starting off bad. So yeah, that's asceticism. It's part 2. Yeah, man. Let's look at the Greco-Roman world. Okay. Asceticism. Oh, it's a long. It's a long one. Yeah, y'all can. I don't know fair use. I won't find something. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. Affirmation of the world. EDU. We'll look at something real quick. Yeah. University of Santa Barbara, 2013. PhD. Asceticism. You got a lot of scholars up here. Yeah, but basically it's just an ideology of self-preservation and all that. It's a philosophy. But you know what I'm saying? And I want to type in something. Hold on. In modern. I'll say modern. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody's telling me salute. Okay, let's read this. Beyond the Cultures of Modern Asceticism. It's a book. Okay, it's a nice book. They have a book on it. Okay. Let's look at it. Introduction of Modern Asceticism and his historical exploration. Modern civilization, famous German film director Wilhelm Prager believed posed as a threat to the physical mental condition of the German nation in his hugely popular film Witchcraft. Okay. It's a German film. Okay, I think this is a film or movie. Yeah, or book. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find one that's good so I can just hit a link or two. I want to go to the wiki and all that stuff. But yeah, asceticism is one of those philosophies. It deals with self-preservation, and I'm curious what MGTOW people will do. But enough on that, because I know I'm going to go. That's just what I want to talk about. So I'm going to add something else. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to get into it. We talked at the beginning of the strain, so I might title it later. So we're just gonna deal with it what we got right now. So let me find something right quick so I can break the meat down. Philosophies. Yeah. Because I'm kinda getting into it. It's Christ and all this other stuff. Yeah. So we got the philosophies map and secular existentialism. Okay. Okay. They got asceticism. That's just a term they use. Another philosophy, Stoics, Epicurus, skeptics, Aristotle, Platoism. Yeah. Read the Babylonian philosophy. Yeah, I'm just looking for something. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about this. We just talk about asceticism. I'm going to give y'all a link share. Um, let's see here for a minute. I'm going to hit this real quick. We talk about this in asceticism, and then there's another philosophy called the Babylonians and things like that nature. So, and it's just what it is. And but you know what I'm saying, like, so you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah. But the thing is, I'm just like looking at it like this. We just talked about Mesopotamia earlier in that Britannica. It's like a part two of it, and then we're gonna talk about the Babylonian philosophy as well. And this is all part of it. And then we're gonna mention some of the what do you call it? It goes in line with Rizzo, and it has a Hellenistic philosophy. It's a combination of what we talked about and human intellect. So this is the culture how it was back then, but these reflect Mesopotamian religion and has a little asceticism to it. We'll see. Astronomers, okay. Philosophies in life, verity, dialogue, pessimism, okay, contains, I'm gonna find Sophism, Heraclitus doctrine, contrast the dialogues of Plato, Socrates. Yeah, here we go. In all things, the organic revolution, the creator is not needed. Yeah, so you talk about human intellect, sexual abandonment permeate all society, and it's all but encouraged, even its also results break down the home and marriage. Okay, total state of welfare. Totalitarianism is the natural path to follow. Thus, state and some organized religion will act. But yeah, it had something to it, but I was trying to find asceticism in this, but apparently I'm wrong. Epistemology. Where is asceticism? Looking for my. Oh my God, they don't even have it. Wow, they missing the whole Oh, it's a philosophy thing, but that they missing that. Asceticism is the whole key. Well, we're gonna look at something. Let's look at Platoism. We mentioned Platoism, right? Yeah, let's look at Platoism. Okay, in ancient Greek, and this is part in asceticism as well. Asceticism as well. From Socratic period found around 387 BCE by Socrates, student and disciple of Plato, continued by his students, Follows, it was based on the academy precinct containing a sacred grove outside the walls of Athens, where Plato delivered his lectures with a prototype for later universities. Platoism was originally expressed in dialogues of Plato, in which figure of his teacher Socrates is used to expound various doctrines. Plato's philosophy is best known for its Platonic realism, also confusingly known as Platonic idealism. Is hylomorphism, the idea of substance or forms inherently in matter. And its theory of forms. Forms are the internal, unchangeable, perfect universals of which the particular objects we sense around us are imperfect copies. It imposes an internal universe and describes the idea as a prior to matter, so that the uh, substantive substantive reality around us and only in a reflection of an higher truth. See the section of Platonic realism for details. So yeah, man, epistemology and all this other stuff, ethics. Yeah, I've seen this before. Aristotelian, Neoplatonism, skepticism. We talked about a few times. Um, you got a lot of skeptics in the sphere. I don't say various Gorgos. He's a nihilist, and I'm just here just to react. So yeah, asceticism has been explained. It's just like an ideology, like customs and stuff. And I already did a part two. I'm gonna have to retitle the stream. Hold on, and it's pretty cool. And let's see what we're going about here. What we got to do? Okay, let's go on. Third War Salute. Um, yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those things that I already talked about asceticism before. The culture, I can bring it back up, and I talked about it before. I don't get in depth with it, but it was on the Britannica. I put the link in the chat. Y'all can read it. But yeah, man. But pragmatism is another thing. That's a whole nother series on that. But yeah, I can bring this one up. I'm talking about a little different thing. So hold on. I'm gonna edit something real quick. Let me I'm gonna go like this. I don't say and. I'm gonna say other. Yeah. Asceticism. Other. We're gonna save it. Yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna get into it tonight. It's one of those nights. Yeah, we just covered that, and I decided to do more. Skepticism, or skepticism in UK spelling, is a Hellenistic school of philosophy. At the simplest, skepticism holds the one refrain from making truth claims and avoid postulation of final truths. This is not necessarily quite the same as claiming that the truth is impossible, which would itself to be truth to claim, but it's often used to cover positions. There's no such thing as certainty in human knowledge, sometimes referred to as academic skepticism. See the section of Doctrine of Skepticism for more details. Yeah, they talking about Gorgias. He's I think, a Greek guy. He's a nihilist, early skeptic, and sophist, and things like that. And then you talk about Socrates. We mentioned him before when we talk about asceticism. And, this is more, and I talk about Platoism. Yeah. I am going in depth on this one. I'll put this in the chat for y'all if y'all can read it. I want to find some more. Give me a copy. I'll put it in the live chat. Yeah. I know people dip for that. So we're going to put this in here. Yeah. So a lot of philosophies map, philosophy's timeline. They got a timeline. Pre-Socratic, classical, Hellenistic. They got all this timeline. And then by historical period. Okay, the Long Western is considered by the tales of Meolitis, who was active around 585 BCE, will probably continue as long as humans exist. Exactly. For convenience, it can be divided into three main eras: ancient, medieval, and modern. The ancient 7th century BC to 500 CE is Socratic, pre-Socratic, and Socratic, 5th century, 4th century BCE, 7th century, 5th century BCE, and it's the ancient Hellenistic. They call it pre-Socratic. Yeah, okay. And then you got your Hellenistic 330, 3rd century BCE, 3rd century CE, and then you got the Roman 1st century BCE to 5th century. Okay, medieval 16th century, 14th century to the now, 15 to 16 Renaissance period. The modern 17th to 20th century, Age of Reason 17th century, Age of Enlightenment 18th century, 19th to 20th century is modern. Okay. So which one y'all want me to go? Y'all want me to go? I think Age of Reason. Let's go to Age of Reason. Age of Reason. Let's hear it. Generally regarded starred in modern philosophy, rough times equate 17th century, including major philosophies. Hobbes Thomas, 1588, 1679 English, and Descartes of Rene. Okay. That's interesting. And Pascal Blassie, the French. Spinoza, the Dutch Jewish. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. German. So that's your 17. Okay, so they got the British empiricism. That's like a form of nihilism. And rationalism. Okay. Age of Enlightenment. I'm just going to look at it. I'm just going to look at a few things. Age of Enlightenment. Okay, who is? Okay, Berkeley Bishop George, 1685, 1753 Irish. Voltaire, Francis Marie Arlet, 1694, 1777, 8. He's a French guy. Hume David, 1711, 1776, Scottish. In 1712 to 1778, Rasul John Jacques, Swiss French. He's Swedish and French. Okay. Scottish, Smith Adam, 1723, 1790. Hell of a period. Kant Emmanuel, 1724, 1804. Burke Edmund, 1729, 1797. So you got your fit, you got your biddings and all that stuff. But Yeah, man. In terms of enlightenment, was an intellectual movement developing mainly in France and Britain and Germany, which advocated freedom and democracy and the reason as the primary values of society. It started from the standpoint that the men's minds should be free from ignorance, superstition, and the former arbitrary powers of the state. In order to allow mankind to achieve progress, perfection, the period was marketed by further. Okay, even arbitrary powers in the state and all kind achieves perfection. Okay, the period was marked by further decline in the influence of the church, governmental consolidation, and greater rights for the common people. Politically, it was a time of revolutions and turmoil, and the overturning of established traditions. That is so true. That's why I call it Age of Enlightenment. The major philosophical movements of the period including British empiricism and rationalism and Kantianism. Uh-oh. Let's talk about utilitarianism, okay. It also saw the increased focus political philosophy. It was essentially a continuation of the process of rationalization begun in the Age of Reason of the 17th century, but also some extension reaction against it. And the two periods often combined as the early modern period. Okay, okay. This is part of the early modern period. So yeah, Kantianism. Um, we're gonna look at this one up. So it's talking about Enlightenment, Romanticism movements. Immanuel Kantianism is a philosophical school based on the writings of the key German idealist philosopher Immanuel Kant, and the philosophies that have arisen from the subsequent study of his writings. It was centered in Germany during the Age of Enlightenment of the late 18th and early 19th century, but to some extent, it is synonymous with the German idealism movement. Although Kantianism also assumes accepts of Kant's position of epistemology, philosophy of the mind, political philosophy, and particularly ethics. Yeah, he's a utilitarian. Okay. In addition to his metaphysical idealism, it is also closely linked with Romanticism movement. In the 1780s and 1790s, Kant tried to refine Bishop George Berkeley's rather naive formulation of idealism, which in general terms in the theory that fundamental reality is made up of ideas or thoughts and not physical matter. At the same time, he attempted to bridge the two dominant physiological schools of the 18th century, rationalism, which is held that knowledge could be attained by reason alone, a priori, and empiricism, which is led to knowledge could be arrived at only through sense and posteriori. And here's Cantu's transactional idealism claim. We know more than Berkeley's idea in our minds, that we also directly know of that at least possibility of nomenia, yeah, noumenia, things in themselves, which are both empirically and transcendently real, even if there cannot be directly immediately known the actual phenomenon, which we perceive and which we think we know are really just the way things appear to us. Not necessarily real. See the section on the doctrine of idealism for more details. Kant's view on ethics, deontology, okay, focus on the rightness and wrongness. This is a form of utilitarianism, you guys. Actions themselves as opposed to rightness or wrongness of the consequences. Yeah, consequentialism stuff right here. Okay. But those actions, the character, the actor holds ethical rules bind people and ethical duty. Yep. That's form of utilitarianism. Then he talks about a little nihilism. Yeah. Neo-Kantianism and all that. Okay. We already know what idealist is. Rationalism. Yep. So basically you got these terms, they've been around. Yeah, Immanuel Kant. He went against those guys. So basically, yeah, let's look at the modern era. We got now. Modern 19th century, the Renaissance period. Let's go modern. All right, here's the modern era. Here's the modern era. Let's round them off like we deal with today in the modern era. Philosophy generally corresponds in 19th and 20th century, but most recent developments in the late 20th century are sometimes referred to contemporary period. Jeremy Bentham, 1749 1832, English. He is a utilitarian philosopher of the quantitative utilitarianism. So, then you got the Gottlieb, John Gottlieb Fichte, yeah, German, GWF, Hegel, German, and you got Schilling, Frederick, you got Arthur, these are Germans, you got a French guy, Auguste Comte, the Danish, yeah, Friedrich Nietzsche, he's a German, he's a nihilist, 1844, 1900. You got a lot. John Dewey, all these guys, man. 2004. This guy died 2004. What's his name? Jacques Derrida, or something like that. He's gone. So you got all these guys. Look at the terms we got to now. Along with the significance, scientific political revolutions, the modern period exploded in a flurry of new philosophical movements, in addition to the further developments of age and enlightenment movements such as German idealism, Kantianism, Romanticism. In modern periods saw the rise of continental philosophy, Hegelianism, transcendentalism, existentialism, Marxism, modernism, positivism, utilitarianism, pragmatism, analytic philosophy, logical positivism, ordinary language philosophy, logicism, phenomenology, and the more contemporary structuralism, post-structuralism, postmodernism, and deconstructionism. Okay. So let's go with, I already know about Marxists. There's no need. Let's go with pragmatism. Okay. Let's see who's in the chat. And if y'all want to know about pragmatism, y'all can research, being pragmatic and things like that. And I know it's like, yeah. So we're going to go into it. We're going to go into it and we're going to hit this, give y'all a link for this right here. Let's see who's up in here. Oh, what's going on, man? Salute. Welcome back. Yeah, man, I'm just rounding off philosophies right now. Okay, pragmatism is commonly used in the manosphere. I do know that. These dudes love pragmatism, amoral pragmatism. I'm going to research that too. But this is strictly pragmatism. We're going to talk about it. It's the late 19th century, early 20th century school of philosophy, which considers practical consequences or real effects to be vital components of both meaning and truth. At the simplest, something is true only insofar as it works. However, pragmatism is not singly a philosophy. It is more of a style or a way of doing philosophy. In general terms, pragmatism asserts that any theory that proves itself more successful in predicting and controlling our world than its rivals, it can be considered to be nearer the truth. It argues that the meaning of any concept can be equate with the conceivable, operational, or practical consequences of whatever the concept portrays, like positivism. Yeah, positivism or something like that. Positivism, or how you want to pronounce it. Positivism, okay. It asserts that the scientific method is generally best suited the theoretical inquiry, although pragmatism also accepts that the settlement of doubt can also be achieved by tenacity and persistence, the authority of the source of the ready-made beliefs or other methods For more details, see the section on the doctrine of pragmatism. Okay. So that's pragmatism. We're going to say the doctrines later. Hold on. The school's founder of American philosophy, Charles Sanders Peirce, first started the pragmatism. He first stated the pragmatic maxim in the late 19th century, restated in many different ways over the years. Let's read it. As Maxim's logic as a reaction of the metaphysical theories, pragmatic maxim is actually a family principle, not all equivalent, at least on the surface. There are numerous of subtle variations with implications which reach into almost every corner of philosophical thought. The school of pragmatism reached its peak in the early 20th century. Philosophies of William James, John Dewey. The term pragmatism was first used in print by James, who credited Peirce with coining the term during the early 1870s. After the first wave of pragmatism, the movement split and gave rise to three main sub-schools. In addition, other independent, non-aligned thinkers. Neo-classical pragmatism inherits most of the tenets of the classical pragmatists, and includes Sidney Hook, 1902, 1989, Susan Hack, 1945, she's still alive. Okay. Neo-pragmatism, sometimes called linguistic pragmatism. It is a type of pragmatism and also differs in its philosophical methodology or conceptual formation from classical pragmatism, and its adherent include C.I. Lewis, 1883, 1964, Richard Rorty, 1931, 2007. He passed away. Okay, older guy. W.V.O. Queen, Donald Davison, 1917 to 2003, and Hilary Putnam, 1926. And you got the French pragmatism is specifically French offshoot of the movement, includes Bruno Latour, 1947. He's still alive. Okay, 1922, 2013. Michael Crozier and Lou Boltanowski, 1940, still alive. Laurent Thévenot, 1949. Okay. So I'm going to put this in my bookmarks. Bookmark bars. Pragmatism. Since we're going to have pragmatism in this mug. Pragmatism. The P. Here we go. We'll talk about it. So we're going to get into it. Doctrine of pragmatism, and we're going to go into it. So I'm just going to move around, see what's going on in the chat. Okay, 58 minutes. Okay, what's going on? Let's see who's in the building. Let's go on. Red Pill. Salute. So, just going to talk about a little pragmatism a little bit. The doctrine of pragmatism, our branch. I'm gonna bookmark this as well. So we're gonna get into it. Practice by movement, by branch. Yeah, we're gonna go up here. Might have to do a series on this. Instrumentalism relations. I'm gonna do a piece on that and pragmatism again. Niccolò Machiavelli suggests the ruler. I think I'll talk about this though. Neo-pragmatism, neoclassical. Yeah, Davidson. Yeah, I'm gonna get into this in epistemology. I'm gonna do a series on it. So, yeah, this is a series. I'll do another stream on it, and then I'll add some more links to more pragmatism and things like that. I'm gonna do a series on that. I meant to do it on the stream, but yeah, this is the modern. I'm just looking up philosophies right now. I'm just scrambling right now. And I also talked about this too. I already had this saved. Utilitarianism. It's about ethics, political philosophy. Let's see what utilitarianism talks about. Oh, this is about movement. Okay, hold on. Okay, I haven't got this one. Hold on. Let me put this in my bookmark as well. I'm gonna add this to my bookmark. So by movement, I got two of them. I got by branch. I already did the one by branch. I know this is annoying. I know y'all don't like utilitarianism. One's in the chat. In 19th century England, which has proposed the greatest good for the greatest number as the overriding rule in all moral decisions. It's the ideal moral worth of an action is solely determined by its contribution to the overall utility and maximizing happiness or pleasure as a summon among all people, i.e., the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. It starts from the basis of pleasure and happiness and intrinsically valuable, that pain and suffering intrinsically disvaluable, and that anything else has value only causing happiness, preventing suffering, and see the doctrine of utilitarianism and more. I already covered that in numerous of streams. Epicurus, I'm gonna have to redo Epicureanism. I'm gonna do a part 2 on that and talk about the difference of the two. I got links to back it up. Let's see. James Mill, the father of John Stuart Mill. Y'all know these Bentham's foremost proponents. So let's look at Liberty and Mill. Let's go read this. In his essay on liberty, in other words, Mill argued that utilitarianism requires any political arrangements satisfies the liberty of principle, harm principle, according to which only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others. A cornerstone of principles of liberalism and libertarianism. Some Marxist philosophers have also used these principles as arguments for socialism. That's how socialism was created. Now, libertarianism has a lot of utilitarian doctrine as well, and especially liberalism as well. But liberalism to me is kind of died out. It's mostly far left. We're dealing with the country, and then you got far right, and then you got less conservatism in this country. A lot of conservatives. I'll make a series on that near future stream. It's kind of dead in the country. I'm going to have to restructure that. It doesn't exist in modern politics. All you got is fascism right now. Other notable utilitarians: Bentham, John Stuart Mill, Henry Sidgwick. I did a piece on that. I did a stream on that. And G.E. Moore and Bertrand Russell, Richard Hare, 2002. J.J.C. Smart. He's another one. So I count. Here's the notable ones. 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 popular ones. And there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Peter Singer's number 9. It's only 9 utilitarian well-known philosophers. So I covered that in a whole piece. So yeah. And then you got positivism. Just gonna get into it. Auguste Comte, mid-19th century, French sociologist and philosopher. Yeah. And doctrine of positivism. Yeah, Paul Maximilian. Yeah, so yeah, it's one of those things. I'm just scanning through. But yeah, man, I'm just looking over the philosophies and things like that. I'm just gonna look at that right quick. But yeah, man, I'm just looking at the modern. Let me look at this real quick. Quick history, general. Modern movements, pragmatism, utilitarianism. Okay. Medieval. Pythagoreanism is an early pre-Socratic Greek school of philosophy based around the metaphysical beliefs of Pythagoras and his followers. Their views and methods were influential on many later movements, including Platonism, Platoism and Cynicism. Yeah, this is like, Pythagoras or Pythagoreans, like that, followers and all that. So yeah, I agree. It's the last piece. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go smoothly. But if y'all want to discuss any topic, I can look up more and copy this for a minute and paste the link in the chat. Yeah, Ramil was clowning old boy. So you know how it is and how it goes. But I'm just here just chilling. Just gonna pin it. Ain't much because I know people's looking at BGS and things like that. But yeah. Yeah. I don't care what people think. But yeah. I'm just gonna look at this for a minute. I'm just checking out the chat right now. I'm not even worried. Yeah, I'm just looking at this. They have the Pythagoras or Pythagoreans. Pythagoras, the beliefs of Pythagoras and his followers, and Pythagoreans, the followers. Pythagoras believed, okay, yeah, and all this other stuff. Pythagoras teaching ritualistic. They deal with the fire and stuff like that. Neo-Pythagoreanism was revealed in the 2nd century BCE, CE as well. Very traditionally associated with the followers of Pythagoras. Notable Neo-Pythagoreans include in 1st century Apollos of Tyana, 40 CE to 120 CE. And their meetings were mainly held in Rome. Yes, Pythagoreans, the followers, or Pythagoras, they deal with fire. They deal with flames and fire. And I first heard of this term years ago. And they also have a video game with Ezio Auditore. So, we up in here. So if y'all want to talk, the link's in the chat. So I'm good. I said enough with basic philosophies. I can go on and on. But yeah, this is asceticism. I did stream on asceticism. I'm gonna stop the screen share on this one and show you that. Let's see here for a minute. If y'all want to chit chat, I just discussed what asceticism was, but you deal with beliefs and they deal with the self-preservation of rituals and stuff. And yeah. So I already did that. And then yeah. The origins of asceticism. That's what I did. And it's not much detail. So I already did pieces on it. And then segue to philosophies. And thank God I changed the title. That's what I segue into. Because this is probably a shorter stream. But I already did 2 streams. I did one about the petition thing, and the petition is so damn ridiculous at this point. I'm glad I just did it. But this one is going to be like, I know it's part 2. It says on the StreamYard link, but I'll change it later. But yeah, man. Let's see. I'm gonna edit it for a minute. I'm gonna say asceticism. They say you can't change it midstream. Let me see if I try. Because philosophies, I'm gonna say, and other philosophies, because I didn't know what to put. So changes. Yeah, I did it. I did it on the StreamYards. Thank God. But that's the whole point. If y'all want to just chit chat, but I could talk about the philosophy besides asceticism. I done covered enough on it, and I got it in the Google search if y'all want to know, because I got the Britannica and things like that. Figure this out. Yeah, I got it right here. So, but y'all can talk whatever. But I'm just saying, like, when I was looking at this picture on Google, man, like asceticism, man, and even though I had the Britannica version up here, this is what this is about right here. It's the Bible and severe shit. But it's just ridiculous how people go in and do their thing and do their research. So yeah, I just want to do a second stream, but I'm glad I did it at 9. So it's 10 something, and I'm just saying it's good to hear the people and have their point of views and get across. And what I'm saying, like, I'm not even worried. But you got that type of mindset to concur and things like that. So I'm not even worried. So, yeah, that's my take on asceticism. It's my take on whatever, and this is good. But salute most, man. What's going on? Shouts out to you. Yeah, I was talking about it early in the stream and trying to do a part 2. Had a Britannica, then I went into other philosophies. I want to mix it up because I didn't have an idea with this topic. Because I'm glad I covered my other stream, and it was. I think it was about the petition. I got tired of it. And I said, you know what? I want to do this. And this one's a scheduled stream, but the next one I'm going to, it'll be, I think it was Wednesday and I believe Friday. So, talk about the communities and stuff like that. Yeah. What's going on?
What's up, man? I just wanted to come up and say hi.
Oh, appreciate you, man. Yeah,
And
man.
how was your stream? Do you believe you accomplished what you wanted to share?
Yeah, I did. And especially that earlier stream, I think it was the petition. It was a response from Wacky's video, and I said his stream, and it's ridiculous on both sides because they usually don't work. And sometimes people they work on a political forum, but not no regular I would say sites like this, because sometimes Google and YouTube they don't really have time for petitions. They just write a statement. So I had to put bits and pieces together and do a stream like that. And I said, you know what, I'm going to talk about it, like I mentioned with the evergreen versus stagnation content. It came through my mind, and I said that one, it came out all right. So, and that's what I needed. But this one is it's a random topic. I mean, yes, I talk about asceticism. I wanted to make a part 2 and just extend it to other philosophies that I haven't delved into, but it's a lot on that. What you call that little site on the basic philosophy, but it's more out there. I mean, there's more books on it, and I just want to cover this. This is something I wanted to do for a while. Should have covered last month, but
Oh, dude, I'd like to help you any way that I can. I don't know if you make shorter content, or it just depends if you want to make shorter clips or a little thing.
Okay, cool. But I think I do more longer clips. I don't even do shorter clips like I used to, because I ain't got that camera savvy right now. But I'm just doing these for the time being, self streams. So but I'm working on getting another equipment around me, so I'm good. So my tops is kind of like information based, just to drop little gems there and there. So,
You're really
and most
good at
of
it, bro.
Yeah. I'm just throwing things off the dome right now. I'm observing, see what's out there. But but I appreciate you though, man. Like, but you're always welcome anytime. But yeah, this is something I just want to get off and say, hey, so let me throw another one in there. So in the chamber.
I dig
So
it. I like your presentation, like how you share things, like even that historical site that talks about all all
yeah,
the brothers in
yeah,
the history.
I have to, man. Like that is important because that was my basically my original content. See, when I did the pre-records, I had like a Dell Inspiron computer that had the camera on it, and then I saved the pictures. So since I have the Chromebook, it's a little difficult because Chrome's a little different than Dell and Windows because I haven't dealt with my laptop yet. But I got pieces to share. But I got a bunch of pictures like the Morris pictures, and I mean that ain't nothing, But that site I've been dealing with that for like almost like 9 years. That scholar is black though. He travels. He's digging more information, and then Kuda doesn't explain himself on the panel because I told him just dabble there and there. You don't have to do it with your radio station because that's something you can put on your Patreon. But this one, I don't have to. I've already covered that years ago. What I mean? They're coming out with more information. So I want to do one with Elam too. I think I'm gonna do one with Elam and then probably Canaan, and that's it. I'm not gonna get into Asia because that can be. I'll make sure bits and pieces of that. So
It's
it ain't gonna.
a rabbit hole.
Yeah, they know about it, but I'm not gonna go in depth. I'm just gonna show the pictures. I'm not gonna read much, but if they want to see, I think I covered most of that in I think in my pre-records. Half of them I already done covered, but I'm gonna stick with the basics, like people haven't seen in the stream form. So yeah, I'm good for now. So yeah, this is like my second stream. So I know BGS is streaming hard right now with the Shadow
Ah,
Point. Yeah.
yeah. I just wanted to come up and say hi, man. But I'll go back in and look at what you did because I've never heard of this this term before.
Asceticism, I've covered this before in a stream before, and I research it. Man, this is extreme stuff. It talks about they do the fasting, the normal fasting, but it's a whole term for it. It's like it's sort of like philosophy, but it's been around. They say all religions practice it, from Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, and Hinduism. It goes on and on. You can research it for yourself. I mean, this stuff is no joke. And what's the images? Let me look at this for a minute. See, like this right here, they take this stuff extreme. You know, yeah, yeah. That's what people notice, but it's a term for it. It's called asceticism, man. They believe that, and the monks, you know,
Wow.
and yeah, the celibacy. Yeah, it's some extreme stuff in the medieval times. It's nothing new. I mean, ain't that much to cover because I ain't seen no books on it, but I'll check some out in the future. But yeah, this ain't no joke. I didn't know it was a term for it. I was looking at it, I was like, whoa, what's asceticism?
Mhm. All right.
And it told me.
Well, thank you for sharing that, bro. I'll catch you on the flip side. You'll be good.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah, that was most man, y'all. I mean, appreciate him for coming up, man. Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about on the asceticism. I could talk about philosophies too. I got the philosophy basics. This is actually the philosophy basics is pretty good if you want basic stuff. I'm not trying to be extremely deep. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm good. Okay. Yeah. Philosophy basics is pretty good. Like, I'm just I'm amazed what you can find on these topics, bruh. Like, you can find a lot, and there's Also, individual philosophers you can look up. You can go on and on. And it's Epicurus. I talked about Epicurus. There you go, right here. He talks about Epicureanism, and it's a whole ideology. His epistemology. He was an Epicurus. He was Epicurus, okay, and his ethics was hedonistic. It was a little hedonistic too. Some people say that's nihilism. Some people say it's utilitarian, but I did a piece on him, search and all that stuff. But that's it. I'm good. I'm good over here. Like this is like 10:26 right now. But yeah, man. I appreciate it. But that's just it. I want to check something out. Hold on. Am I back? All right. All right. I'm good. Yeah. This is one of the things that I've seen lately, but I know people's in the chat and crazy. But yeah, man. I'm just gonna keep this one up. But yeah, this one is just I know this ain't gonna be a long stream because links in the chat if y'all want to come up and talk or whatever. But I can shut this down soon. But I'll show you Epicurus and read them off for you. But and that's it. I mean, I'm doing good, and that's about it. Because I'm basically seeing what's what out here. So I'm not even worried at this point. So yeah. And I might do. I'll think about a stream that's going to be concrete and whatever. So I know people's busy right now. He said real quick, Shango and things like that. So people are still talking and things like that. Oh, you got triple X and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm just like, and yeah. But I'm gonna read them all for you because I know I got 3 in the building. So let's go on. Very okay. I read about him before. I did a piece on him, but then he said he had metaphysics, cultivation of friendship, freedom, and he's like the father of modern day utilitarianism and consequentialism. But we'll see. And he was born February 341 BCE, the island of Samios in the Aegean Sea off of the Ionian coast of Turkey. His parents, Nicholas and say Tracy or something like that, like I won't say Shay, were both citizens of Athens, but immigrated to Athenian settlements of Samos some 10 years early. He studied the ruler of Platonist, teacher of Pampilus, for 4 years in in Athens. Yeah, he joined the military. Yeah, this guy's a scholar. Between the Stoic philosophers of the academy. Yeah. Epicureanism is popular, sprung up throughout the Hellenistic world. Competition, the Stoicism until in eventual decline with the rise of Christianity. Yeah, Epicureanism, you already know. It birthed utilitarianism. Okay. The foundation of Epicurus ethics, reciprocity, or the golden rule, which simply means treat others as you would like to be treated, arguably the basis of the modern concept of human rights. He introduced in the Greek thought what was then the radical contempt of fundamental human egalitarianism. That's what he actually kind of birthed this term. Egalitarianism has been around a long time, but it's a form of Epicureanism. But he regularly admitted women and slaves into his school. He was also one of the first to explicitly endorse the idea of societal contract. Then justice comes from a joint agreement not to harm each other. To see this section of uh, what's it called? Contrarianism. Is it contrarianism or something like that? Not contrarian, but contractionism or something like that. Yeah, he birthed that as well. We're gonna go back to Epicurus and developed much later as Hobbes and Locke's Rasu. And the origins of utilitarianism are often tracked back to Epicurus. Yes, the origin of this term came back to Epicurus. So yeah, it's very hedonistic term. He's very hedonistic, and there's books on him, and you can read and things like that. Y'all can research the books. I'll give you a link. Y'all can read this for yourself. But enough of that. I talk about different philosophies on this one. I already talked about asceticism. I'm just gonna drop this in here in the chat. I appreciate y'all came through, but I might as well shut this down. This is maybe a piece. I want to see what's going on because I know everybody's streaming. I know it's the weekend, and let me look at something right quick. And I'm saying I'm good because I might have to look at Shatterpoint because I know people are busy and doing things, but we'll see if who comes through or not. So I'm not gonna rush. Yeah, 4 viewers, 25 views. Okay, good. Coming in. So yeah, I was talking. Good job. All right. Did very good on this. But yeah. I done gave you the link. I'm gonna stop this real quick. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good over here. So okay. Oh, shalom. Yes, shalom to you. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I'm gonna shut this down. Peace to most man for coming up. True Savage, Pasta, $40, aka Earth Gotti, New, Big Mike, Tampa. What's going on, y'all? Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut this down. So it's been a good run. Peace, everybody, and shalom.